Monday the status of TreeCon, whether I'm going to be putting money towards that or if I'm just going to get outright paid out. So if I get outright paid out for the job rather than getting money for putting that towards TreeCon, which is about $400 worth of labor, so about 20 hours, which 9 of are already covered because of the past couple of days, that could in theory work out to my advantage. As soon as I got that big saw, I've already got big trees that I got to cut down anyway. But if I'm lucky, what'll happen is I'll be able to put 400 or 500 on the card. Because if I can get 540 on the card, that means that next month I should only own about 2,240 on the card, plus again the monthly payment on the drums, right? But that takes down the minimum payment to like around $100 a month or whatever. Which I always say whatever your minimum monthly payment is, try to double it. But I'm calculating my payment off of what's being charged per month because it's higher, right? So the $236 that's being charged each month is higher than the $128 that I owe on the $2,500 that's on the card currently, right? At $2,540. So the idea is to let's say all the payments were done from the drum kit, and it was still $2,540 on the card, and it was $128 a month. I'd probably try to put $300 on there, so it's double the payment. And $300 or $400. If I could put $300 or $400 on the card a month, well over that minimum monthly payment, that's like almost 3 times the payment. 3 to 4 times the minimum monthly payment. You pay it down faster and you save a lot of interest, Like you're going to pay, credit card's the worst way to do anything, I get that. But it's an option for guys like me who have no money. You know what I mean? Like I like a lot of people say, well, you could have put that money towards a vehicle and do monthly payments. Well, yes and no. If I knew I could make enough money 12 months out of the year, I mean, there's 6 months out of the year where I don't make a cent typically, right? This year's kind of a strange exception to the rule where I, made got a couple of good jobs in January, February, March, which normally I really don't work at all in those months. So I never count on that. So if anything I get is just a bonus, and it helps me to put me ahead. Otherwise, I would be completely out of money right about now. Right as the money's coming in. But this year I got a buffer zone, so I'm not on the wire, right? And if I'm lucky, I mean, I got 10 days or so left to the month, and if I'm lucky, I will have all my expenses covered up to July, which helps me out a lot. It just gives me a buffer zone, so when I get kicked in the nuts by a Murphy payment of something breaks down, whatever. I don't want to even make suggestions. Well, what could possibly break down that I own? That's pretty much everything I own. And so somebody moving shit around. And anyway, the point I'm making here is that if I can get ahead, say 6 months ahead by the end of this year, my goals are for this year, to be 6 months ahead on all my living expenses. I know that sounds like next to impossible, but it's the way you got to do it. Like if you're a young man now, just keep putting money away. Over a couple of years, you'll be like, a year ahead on all your average expenses. So when something pops up unexpected, you've got a buffer zone, so it doesn't completely wipe you out and you're on the wire every time. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience. I try my best not to do that, right? But it's not like when something breaks, it's like $50. It's like, okay, something broke. Okay, it's $5,800. Just because something broke. You know what I mean? Like that's the way life is right now. It's like, oh, you got $2,000 saved up, you're ahead. Okay, great. Your car breaks down, $2,100. And you consider that a win because you're only in the hole for $100, right? Oh yeah, that's the way it works. So the way I run my finances is so goal 1, get ahead on everything as much as I can, which again, I'm working on July's living expenses right now. So if I can get 1 month ahead every month, by the time we hit October, November, and I'm, possibly out of work for the whole, for 6 months again, because usually I'm seasonal, right? At least I can coast through the winter without worrying about, living expenses and stuff like that. That's the point of it, right? My next goal is, possible or not possible, is to get at least the 2 chainsaws, the big chainsaw. Now, if I get tree con, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get another good mid-sized saw, because I do want a brand new saw. Like, it's just, I need to rely on newer equipment, right? And all that. So the whole point is, that I get ahead enough that I have my 2 saws, okay, bought and paid for, way ahead on my living expenses, and then on top of that, obviously try to get the truck fixed, right? So even if I don't get the truck fixed this year, that's fine, because that's gonna be thousands of dollars. Like, there's the odds of that thing being like a $200 fix or a $50 fix is like next slim to none, right? Like, that's the problem with the old trucks, right? Now, if I get lucky and I can sell off my stuff, it's so hard to sell stuff like the boat. I've been trying to sell that now for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you're in the city and you're in a boatyard, yeah, it's easy to sell a boat out of a boatyard. But you live, people will say, well, yeah, but, and I don't want to give things away. You know what I mean? I don't want to sell it for such a loss that it hurts. You know what I mean? But, it's still, how long do you want to hang on to stuff too? You know what I mean? So there's that. Same with the bike. I think pretty much everything I own of any value is up for sale, except for like the musical equipment stuff. Which some of the guitars my cheaper guitars, I'm probably going to get rid of some of them later on. It's not like I'm selling this stuff to pay my rent. I'm selling it just because it doesn't cost me anything to hold on to it. Hold on to it until you get what you're like. I got lucky and I sold the trailer last year. I took a massive loss on that trailer. And that's always the case for me. I buy something, and almost right away it's worth nothing. But it's always the case of, like my chainsaws. Like, I'm not gonna get. I could have got $100 for 2, Ninja Shark and Sasquatch. So it's like, okay, $100, but it cost me nothing to hang on to. Okay, $100 would be nice to put towards something else, but let's say I was able to get $200 for both saws. Okay, well, I could put at least that $200 towards a brand new little saw. You know what I mean? $100, no, it's not enough to, just hang on to them, because you never know. I should have talked to John about the guy he gets to fix his saws, just to see if he could do my saws cheaper. But again, old saws, that's like, you fix those up when you've got all your new saws, right? That's just like bonus stuff. So it is one of those things. I'm at the point in with my kind of yard business where I can't afford to really buy used stuff. I just can't afford it. I can't afford the downtime. I don't have the time to fix it. I don't have the money to pay somebody to fix it. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, when I bought that whippersnipper last year for 200 and some odd bucks, brand new, it's been a great investment. Okay, yeah, it plugged up on me and whatever, but it was still under warranty, and I didn't get, it was almost near the end of the season when it plugged up anyway, and I relied on the other one, which I got for $60 used, or 3 hours of labor, however you want to look at it. And that was fine. That was fine, because I had 2 of them, so the second one could be used. That's fine, but I want one really top-notch, reliable one, right? But from this point on, I will probably, unless it's like a real steel and ready to go, I really won't take too much to use equipment unless I know for sure, okay, I'm going to get my, like, if it's something like $60, I'll get that back in one day. So if I get 2 days work out of it, I'm laughing, right? So you know what I mean? And if I get a year out of it, like that other whippersnipper, for $60, I got almost half a season out of it, right? So already, and it's still good, you know what I mean? So it's like, at that point, you know, like, okay, yeah, that's a good return on investment, but that's a gamble. You know what I mean? Because I got a bunch of other whippersnippers last year that sort of worked, sort of didn't, sort of worked, sort of didn't, right? And I don't want to be in a position where I'm gotta, you know, to get this fixed and get that fixed. It demoralizes you, it overwhelms you, and you know, you can't trust it. You're always